Hello and welcome to this week's episode of The Adventures of the Windswift. Now, we turn our focus to one of our players who's going to give us a recap of what happened last week, just in case you missed it. That's Con. Con, you're up. What happened last week?
Well, quite a few things happened last week. After the defeat of Kuphet and his minions aboard his vessel, and the death of Con, temporarily, happily for Con, as the quick-thinking Atra managed to transfer his soul, regrettably, into a chicken, but needs must, whatever tools come to hand and all that. Meanwhile, Adru'sai and Secret were investigating magical items and documents provided by Jorik, who had ransacked Kuphet's offices, as they attempt to piece together more of the big mystery we're facing and what our next steps should be. Con had an interesting meeting with the Oakin, where he got a new body, and also offered to become Arch-General rulership for the world, father of his countryship, which has put him in quite a spot philosophically. Now I believe, having reunited, the captains and our allies are about to plot our next move.
There you go. That's right. You are all convened in the map room, if you recall. That was your request. So that's where you are, in the map room, all of you seated around with Captain Ty and Atramentum in attendance.
So I obviously have some gaps in what I know about our current situation, what you've all discovered since my interlude. So I'd be eager to hear what you've all learned.
Adru'sai?
Oh yes, you remember the gnome from Drakenmore sending all the iron wood, and Jorik found some interesting paper in Kuphet's room, and it turns out that they're building a very large engine, very, very, very big, somewhere around here, you said, Jorik?
Yes, as far as I've been able to glean from these documents, it is somewhere in this vicinity. Probably near Pugglesnuff, I would guess.
That's where things tend to be pointing.
Yes.
Did the Oakin give you any news?
Yes. The druids are in possession of the book that the merfolk formerly held, as we suspected.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's good.
And the Oakin is already drunk upon its power.
Oh.
That's less good.
It is a bit troubling.
When you say drunk...
Has he been using it?
Look, to be fair, he is planning to step down.
And who's going to take over from him, Con?
He wants me to take over the Council of Druids.
Okay.
If I were to go with that plan, then maybe we can safely get our hands back on the book, if not immediately, then at some point. The problem with that is that he is using it.
What's he doing?
Well, you saw the storm.
Oh.
Wow.
He's done something to the elves. Needless to say, he's...
Which
the
elves?
Sorry, Secret. The Evain Vasul and the
They're a
King
pompous load.
merfolk now are subservient to the druids.
Oh.
And he has enforced peace between them.
Wow,
Yes.
they are not
So
going to
that's what the ambassador meant.
I imagine with the Talvan Shear, he can do a lot of damage to any nation.
Do you know where his eye might wander next?
Well, they are very, very determinedly fixed upon Drakenmore. But he is also following through with the plan I had discussed with him, although he has interpreted it differently from I. And in terms of intervening in the warring nations and bringing about peace. However, he's using the book as a blunt instrument to do this.
Honestly, It sounds like this is a problem that's going to solve itself. Argyle's kids are going to eat him quickly by the sound of it.
Argyle?
I
Book.
don't know what that means, but
No, the book is going to devour his mind and turn him into an empty husk of what he once was.
right.
Oh, that's gonna look pretty.
I might actually be able to ask Argyle if he can hurry that up, actually.
Who is Argyle?
Yeah. Oh,
It's very difficult to explain, and it's a long story. I'll tell you later.
I do have an idea about what to do with the Stockstoiver,
Mm-hmm.
which is essentially to sail it up to Pugglesnuff and see what happens.
Con, would you say he's using the book and these newfound powers to open the skies and destroy nations under his boots to pacify them?
Well, we
Yeah.
could say he did that once at least.
Mm.
I'm not sure how many times he's had to demonstrate it. He's not destroying entire nations, as far as I know. But yes, essentially he is, as I say, using the book as a blunt instrument to enforce subservience.
I have been a little bit out of the loop in the last few months. And you seem to be very embroiled in the politics of the states.
Reluctantly, I
Well, I
had
think-
hoped to have set in motion a more diplomatic initiative, but that has not happened.
Let me ask you one question. Which nations do you know of are fighting each other right now? And you would then assume that the druids will crush underneath their boots, or paws for that matter.
I know that the drow and the dwarves are due for some attention.
No.
Could be happening as we speak,
The Sagetti and the Trakamorians.
presumably. But then the druids have a special interest in Drakenmore anyway. I have tried to suggest that an outright annihilation of Drakenmore would be excessive, but I fear that there is a limit to my influence on his decision-making.
Well, there are a lot of innocent people in Drakenmore.
There are a lot of innocent merfolk in the sea.
Hmm.
There were.
Sorry, no, that's bad.
It's yeah, it is what it is.
Was he going to help us at all? I mean, I'm still a bit worried about this whole Section 13 thing.
We should stay the course, I believe. I've asked him to ensure that all druidic assets around Pugglesnuff are ready to assist us.
Are there a lot of those?
Don't know.
There's a lot of trees.
There's a lot of trees. There is a lot of trees.
I assume we're not going to head there in the Windswift because everybody knows the Windswift. So we're going to use the Stockstoiva to approach,
It seems
not
like
unannounced, but at least undercover.
Well, if we can hope that perhaps they're not yet aware of its fate, then we may buy some time. And if they think that we are Kuphet, they might show their hand without us having to do too much.
True.
Oh, by the way, we're going to need a guard in Kuphet's quarters. There's a teleportation circle in there. We don't know who might be dropping in.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that complicates things a bit.
There is one information that I have learned.
Yeah.
I would say thanks to Lily primarily,
Thanks to Lily.
because of what she was being able to glean from the oracle I killed on board the other vessel.
Mm-hmm.
According to her, the oracle in question that lies now dead inside her quarters saw or was at a certain place that must be Pugglesnuff, and specifically which was mentioned is a cliff of white stone.
Yes, well, we knew that.
In
Limestone
addition-
cliffs there, yes.
Yeah.
That's
In-
interesting.
Is that where she was speaking to the dragons, Adra?
In addition to that, She possibly spoke to multiple dragon entities, however, probably not in person. At least that is what I gathered from the descriptions of your own oracle.
No, that makes sense. They probably relayed orders to build this large engine so that they can get through finally.
I do not know how exactly that works or how exactly the powers of your oracles work, but that is the information she gave me. If you have more questions on this matter, I would say go to the source of the information rather than ask me.
So,
Sounds-
lots of
Adru'sai, you remember the engine in Naxa where we saw the dragons for the first time?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know enough about these engines to know if sound would travel through that portal? It could simply be that they have an engine that they're communing through.
Yes, true. I know that you can send telepathic messages or use magical communication to get through the gaps in the engine. I know that the Jockenstoke spoke of that was a possibility. So it's quite possible that they made contact with the dragons through the Stockstoivis engine.
But Atra did say that she spoke to the dragons in a goblin city near Lime Cliffs, which would probably be Pugglesnuff. So they must have an engine there as well. And I'm not talking about the big one, because if I can read these documents correctly, that engine is not yet finished.
No, that's the good news.
Yeah.
All this is being held in these cliffs as well.
all the evidence points to the cliffs outside Pugglesnuff. So
Yes.
we should set a course for those.
Limestone tends to have caves.
So what do? We just anchor the Windswift here and transfer all the crew over to the Stockstoive and we use her for...
Essentially, yes. But someone will need to keep an eye on the Windy.
Yes, that, we make it look like... no, it's gone again. That the ship we're... what's its name again?
I've had a thought.
Stockstravia has taken the Windswift and is towing it behind her.
I have
except the Windy can't fly.
And I guess this may be an indication that they don't know. But I suddenly remember what happened when everything fell apart. Namely, all the flying ships exploded.
True.
If the enemy were to discover that Kuphet is no longer controlling this ship, they could blow us up at any moment.
Good
Yes.
point.
So I still think we could make it look like the Stockstravia has taken the Windswift, because the Windswift can't fly anyway, so it would have to sail with the Windswift if it took it.
Well, we can't get to Pugglesnuff sailing. We have to fly the Stockstoiver there.
Okay.
Yeah. We're on the wrong
we
side.
should leave Captain Ty on board with a couple of members of the crew, just so she can sail to Pugglesnuff in a leisurely manner, so she can meet us there eventually. But yeah, I guess we'll fly.
That's going to be months.
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
You
fine.
just
I don't
stick
think we
around.
have that time.
Best not to go anywhere.
I think we should, crew the Stockstoiver with a minimal crew on account of the exploding that you mentioned, Con, so that we can, get there and then leave the ship.
Get off the ship, yes.
Yeah, yes, before said explosions.
There is one of those flying skiffs on board the Stockstravia, isn't there?
Probably. A ship this size, probably 2, I would guess, but yes.
I've used one of those before as a good escape vessel. Well, sort of. Oh, it kind of worked.
Yeah, but you were lucky that time. We can't count on luck. I'm sorry.
Right.
Next time I'll make sure the rope's longer. I've learned my lesson now.
Let's get this in motion then.
Yes. No skeleton crew on the Windy just to keep her around, or do we just take everyone? Because the Windy is not going anywhere.
No.
Well, it will go somewhere if someone isn't on it to keep it where it is, so somebody's going to have to stay behind. But we also do need some sort of manpower.
The three captains that we rescued from the Stockstoiva are willing to help us fly her.
Right.
Excellent.
And I think that we should leave most of the people who aren't willing to, rush into the Sector 13 and fight. Yeah.
The captain that lured us into this trap, did anyone find any information about him? I'm trying to remember his name.
Oh, you mean Rumbathenbergen?
That's the one.
All right, that guy.
If it was, I mean, I did say they didn't expect us yet.
Oh.
There's some suspicious things building up, but
Couldn't you just send him a message and say we've been captured by Kuphet?
Ooh.
I could do that.
Because if he's on our side, he's going to try and mount a rescue, which is pretty good. He'll get here anyway. But if he's not on our side, he's going to report to someone that we've been captured.
Good plan.
Unless they try and verify with Kuphet, or
Yes, of course.
congratulate him, or I don't know.
Well,
teleportation.
But there is a lot of text. They've written a lot of letters. So it looks like most of their communication is good old school paper.
Yes, and they unfortunately lost their oracle in the fighting.
Yes,
So
oh no.
It's quite possible that they will try to contact Kuphet through other means, possibly through this teleportation circle, in which case perhaps one of us should be ready to pose as Kuphet. A bit like we did with Dungathwin.
Well, you're the shapeshifter.
Well, yes, I'm not a very good liar. Tail or not.
This is true.
I mean, we have that necklace of
Yes, okay, that's yours. Yeah,
I think I gave it to somebody.
it's on the ship somewhere anyway.
We can take all the pretty artifacts with us, don't worry.
Yeah. Anyway, we should get this show on the road. So we'll let Ty pick out the crew she wants, and we go.
Should we maybe have a rest?
Yeah, I really would appreciate a rest.
We'll have time to rest.
Is in
I think we have.
attendance, right? So what's she saying to all this?
She's nodding and quietly waiting for her turn, or for someone to question her. These are her superiors talking. So,
All right. So, Captain Ty, pick out the crew you need for manning the Stockstoiva and leave a skeleton crew on the Windy to take care of it. And we are heading to Pogglesnuff, I suppose.
what course should the Windswift make?
Somewhere safe. Wonder where
Where
that
is
is.
safe these days?
Yes, the list of safe harbors seems to be dwindling somewhat.
Nothing comes to mind. So either the Windswift should hold position, or she should start making her way towards Deneth's Wall. But that's a 2-week journey.
Oof, yeah, I would find a nice little bay that's fairly...
Could we just send her to Pispin? It's not that far. It's a goblin city, of course, but at least we
Do we really
could
trust
walk
the
there, and
goblin?
there's a harbor.
That's true. All right, we'll make for Bispin.
And we trust the goblins. I just...
To them, we're still the order, so just wave your hand around and everything goes as expected.
Yes.
Viss also said there are a lot of gnomes running around in the area, so...
Yeah, I guess we just don't go near gnomes.
Yes.
And you will disembark.
Except there is one gnome I would like to run into, and I propose we kill him when we do.
The one from Drakenmore?
Mm-hmm.
I suspect
yes.
most of the people we find, should we succeed in locating them, will
Wind up dead?
require killing.
Awesome.
You had a question, Ty?
I was under the impression that you're going to leave at sunrise in about 8 hours.
Yes.
Yes.
Good rest time.
We're leaving as soon as everyone's ready, so I need you to pick out a crew for the Stockstoiva,
It will be done.
and I want you to captain the Stockstoiva and leave a skeleton crew on the Windswift.
Understood, sir.
Very well.
All right. Just
I feel that we should take the druids with us, but maybe leave Mios behind. Is that okay, Captain Ty?
I
I think
plan on
Bushy
putting
Tail
Meowth in
Big
charge
One
of
should stay with the Windy. Sorry. What was that, Ty?
I had planned on putting Meowth in charge of the Windswift, as a matter of fact.
what?
Wow,
I mean,
that's a huge
that's-
promotion. I mean, are you sure?
Really? I mean, not.
American is the first officer, that is true, but I will need him aboard the Stock Stoiver. Meowth is technically second officer, and as a result, he has proved himself to be quite commendable under certain circumstances. He has been aboard the Windswift now for longer than almost anybody else, and knows the ship.
And I suppose he's extracted himself from the barrel.
Yeah, all he needs really is to just step up and take authority.
Yes,
And
from
if you can do that, I think he'll be fine. Responsibility is a good way to grow as a person.
Exactly.
Good choice, Ty. I like that.
Right, well, we'll be ready to depart unless anyone else has anything they wish to add. Now's the time.
No, I'm gonna go find a bunk on this ship.
Well, just stay safe, and just I don't.
Are we allowed to sleep in our cabins? I think they might be more comfortable.
I don't
Sure.
recall.
Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna stay on the Stock Stoiver. I'll stick around the. I'll sleep in Kuphet's room. I'll keep an eye on the teleportation circle, and I want to go through his papers a bit more as well.
I will join you once I've got my things from the infirmary. I don't think any one of us should be alone in that chamber. You never know what might come through.
All right.
Oh. I need some rest first, but I'll join you later.
Sure, it'll be a sleepover party.
Party in Kuphet's room.
Yeah.
Sure, bring pillows and blankets.
And chocolate.
Before I go to bed, I want to do a couple of things.
Sure, go through the list.
Also, before she leaves, Asha would like to speak to her.
Sure, go for it.
Right, to Adru'sai.
Oh, to me, okay.
Everybody else has departed to go and find beds and medicine. Just the two of you left.
Okay. Adru'sai, I have a question for you. I know we spoke about this already, but a few days ago you were in the mind of the captors' daughter, and you saw the sky above their heads and the city they are in right now, situated in. Can you describe the courtyard you found yourself in to me?
Sure can. It was about doobly-doo.
Yay high and
High and
with those
the rooftops were a little spiky but gargoyle free. It was a little sort of dark grey stone, etc.
Yep.
Yada yada.
Yeah, obviously that you don't.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine. It just
I describe it as best I can.
Yeah. I am once again in your debt. Thank you.
Hey, no problem. You gonna stick around for this? Won't take long, either way. I mean, I'm not expecting you to come risk your life or anything, and I mean, you're going on a ship that could explode at any moment, and we're moving into a warren of presumably twisting maze-like tunnels full of people who want to murder us. An unknown number of people, in fact, with unknown amounts of weaponry or magic.
You make it sound so attractive.
That about sums it up.
That is not the thing that I am worried about necessarily. I have been fielded against impregnable fortresses before. There are other revelations that worry me much more.
Like what?
Your druid friends.
Ah, yes, that. Yes, that is very concerning. But I like to deal with one major world-shattering crisis at a time. And, I mean, what I know of the books and how they work, I'm pretty sure that the Oakin is not going to last for very long, considering how much he's using that thing.
Well, would you say he lasted long enough to destroy 2 empires within a week's time?
Yes, I mean, yes. Now that you put it that way, that does sound, yes, terrible. And
Okay.
yes, no, we'll the whole books thing and the horrifying destruction that they have wrought on this world is something that I am definitely getting to as soon as I can. There's a lot going on. In fact, actually, I'm sort of looking to try to destroy one of them, just to see if it's possible with regular means.
Well,
I mean, it's not super safe to have 3 of them at once on board this ship.
perhaps.
Not super safe. I mean, I'm thinking about just, tossing it in the fire and see what happens. But, I mean, you might have more magical means of destroying things.
Well, as far as I understood, the people you were talking about earlier were of the kind of people that destroyed magical artifacts.
It's true. That's a good point. But I'm not sure I want to let them know that we have any of these things right now.
Well, those are questions I do not feel comfortable that they are in my fort to answer.
No.
So
Just asking if you'll come with me to my room and help me destroy a book, which is a sentence that I thought I'd never utter. But here we are, at the end of the world.
That is as much as I owe you, at least, sure. But please give me some time to talk to your chicken in charge.
All right, sure. I'll try to do it before we leave, but I'm going to go out onto the plains and do some dancing.
You look somewhat exhausted too. Maybe you should try sleeping.
In a bit. I have a couple of things to wrap up.
Just one more game.
One more episode, right?
One more turn.
Yeah.
I will be waiting for you on top of the deck of the Stockstoiver.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk with her about.
All right,
So,
next.
as I said, I would be walking then towards Con. But that isn't necessarily.
Okay. Next on your list, Adru'sai?
I want to grab, because I'm going to bring one of the books with me, the Talrana, the first one we grabbed. And then I want to sort of make my way with a skiff or something down into the Baron's Reach. And I want to try a couple of other dances with the dancing stones.
Night fever, night
Stroll out onto the deck for a peaceful evening drink and just see like a whoa.
You're just in time to see the meteorite coming.
That's it.
Because, I mean, I know sort of what one of them does, but I want to figure out, just test a couple of the others. And it feels like a barren wasteland is probably the best place for
I was
it.
just about to say, it's a good place to practice.
Yes.
All right. You are trying to remember some dances that you read quite a while ago.
Yes, I am.
This is Adru'sai we're talking about.
Are you reading from the Talrana?
No.
So you just have it with you.
Yes, because I plan on bringing it along, so I'm sort of taking it, putting it in my bag, but I'm just going to start trying to remember the dances that I saw first time I was in there.
Give me an intelligence check.
This it can do.
Can do.
17.
17. All right. Then would you give me an acrobatics check?
Oh, God.
Cannot do.
You're a cat. Fine.
8.
Wow. Give me a dexterity saving throw, if you please.
Oh, God. 19.
All right. Con, you are watching idly on deck as you're just looking out over the barrens. It has strange green gases at night, which are quite picturesque. Suddenly you see this flash where it looks, for all intents and purposes, as if suddenly this giant square shape just opens up, and it's about 150 feet in width and in height. All of a sudden, this square shape opens up, and you are convinced that you see this massive city just crawling, well, not really crawling because that implies that they're crawling over the walls, but walking on passageways and corridors. It looks like these bipedal insect-like creatures holding torches, busy patrolling the walls and things. And then that square suddenly just slams shut, and there's this crack of thunder. And Adru'sai, you were for a moment standing on the street in broad daylight with these insect-like creatures walking around you. They didn't seem to notice you there until one of them did. But then the whole world just closed, almost like someone drawing curtains, I suppose. And you were thrown backwards, and you take 9 points of damage.
Yeah.
From the concussive force.
Clack, clack at the door.
You were fairly convinced that you knew what this bloody thing... You were fairly convinced you did the dance correctly. But you realized that maybe your wrists were not at the right angle when you finished the dance.
Anyone else see that? No?
Let me answer that succinctly.
No.
Yeah, Hurricane is quietly smoking on the side, sort of leaning against the railing. Don't look at me, sir. I saw nothing. I am just here on watch.
I'm gonna down a healing potion, and I'm gonna try another one.
All right. Give me another dance, or are you going to try to do the same dance again?
No, another one.
Another dance. All right. Give me an intelligence check.
18?
Sure. Give me an acrobatics check.
6.
Remind me to have a dance with Adru'sai.
He will take off your feet and pretty much everything else.
Oh, I need to get this.
There is, as you finish this sort of, you think it's a graceful pirouette, but to anyone else, it looks like the conclusion of a spinning top as it wobbles from side to side and then topples over. And you suddenly start falling. There is no ground underneath you.
Oh dear.
And you just fall endlessly downwards until suddenly you see what looks to be like this giant blue sphere, and then it becomes green, brown, and yellow, and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until eventually you see clouds, and you're suddenly falling through the sky.
Oh no.
You land and bounce twice in the Barrens, and you only take a measly 18 damage.
Actually, I have further fall prepared. So I think I just doesn't work. Oh no. I sort of try it, I sort of cast it. Oh no, sorry. 18 damage.
Con, you're convinced you saw Adru'sai.
Now you must have seen that. No?
I believe that I saw a bird.
Yeah.
Because whatever that was, it was not flying.
I mean, point.
Strange place, this Barren Reach thing.
You won't catch me going out there.
I think Adru'sai a little while later comes sort of flying back on board, landing sort of covered in dust and sort of bloodied and bruised, and going, "Ow, that was a bad idea. I need Con, do you dance?"
I I think I left the stove on, says Hurricane as he then starts heading down the stairs.
Only when I'm drunk.
Well, we should get drunk together sometime because I need to learn how to dance. And I just sort of limp into the room.
Right. I follow and sort of. I assume you're going to Kuphet's quarters because that's where I'm going with my satchel, ready to spend the rest of the evening sleeping with one eye open.
I'm just going to collapse and sleep.
As you open the doors to Kuphet's quarters, there's a blue flash.
Oh no!
And then okay. Aye, says a voice you haven't heard before, and then another voice says, "So, where does it go?" Well, I was in a room that this is attached to. I don't know exactly where it goes. I didn't want to venture too far on my own, but it's definitely to a facility, sir. Oh, you have arrived. We haven't been formally introduced. I'm Captain Ballo.
Honor.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance. We've made contact with your Captain Jorik, I believe his name is.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Hi.
This is Adru'sai.
Yes, we've met.
Yes.
So it would appear that someone has gone in and out of the circle then.
Captain Mion, yes. And seems to be quite fine for it.
So where did you go?
I went into definitely a teleportation room of some kind that has been set up specifically for the linking to this ship, I think.
Oh. I mean, that's practical.
The composition of that room.
Fairly plain room, quite large, maybe 50 or 60 feet in square diameter. Then there is a single door which leads out of the room.
Did it have white walls?
As a matter of fact, yes, it did.
Aha!
And white ceiling as well.
Ooh, good. I mean, I guess maybe we won't have to fly after all. I mean, this would be more practical.
Where do you suspect that it leads to?
Oh, Sector 13.
Yes, I heard Captain Jorik talk about that before. Section 13 is a myth. It doesn't exist.
Oh, yes. We thought that too. I mean, I never thought that, but I bet a lot of people did.
I mean, to be strictly scientifically precise about it, we're assuming it's Section 13 or some sort of satellite facility of. However, it almost certainly is the epicenter of all of the problems we have been tracking down. All the clues lead this way, as it were.
Right. Well, we've gone over the paperwork. It certainly looks like Kuphet was in league with a rather large number of individuals who had a significant amount of resources to throw at him. So that sort of ties together, I suppose. What are your plans with the Section 13?
No, I don't know how up to date you are, but it would appear that they are currently engaged in bringing about some sort of vast engine to facilitate a draconic invasion.
Right. Well, then I suppose our course of action is clear. May I pick what weapons you need? We will go through first, and then you can follow behind, yes? Unless I suppose you want to go through first, since you were the ones that rescued us from this ship.
I like this guy. That's definitely looking like a good option, just not right this moment.
You're waiting for reinforcements?
Yes. There's more to happen before we go charging in.
Yes. Tomorrow.
Right, you are. Was there a reason for you coming here?
Sleep, really.
Keep an eye on this thing.
Right, you are. Right. Well,
But did you claim this room? Did you dibs it? Have we been dibsed?
we were going to stay here to protect whatever might come through that portal. same in thoughts as you. We have to perform some rituals to destroy those artifacts. That will take us some time. We thought, well, we might as well do it here. But if you wish to bivouac here, we can do it elsewhere.
Thank you. No, I want to take another look at some of the papers around here as well. So that would be very kind of you. Thank you.
Your Tantir can bring you up to speed on the documentation. He's gone through it all.
Oh, excellent.
Well, it looks like you've all got this under control. I'm going to go find a comfortable bunk somewhere.
All right.
I'm aiming towards Kuphet's massive bed.
Not a problem. Okay, folks, 8 hours pass, sun rises, and it is a cool, fresh breeze that greets you, that blows over the barren reach and brings with it the scents of slowly rotting wood and dusty plains that live beyond it.
And cats. Is there a ship's cat?
It is now.
Apparently so.
I would have sent that message to Rumbathenbergen before we went to bed.
What's the message?
Met Kuphet, captured, sent help, avoid other ships not safe. Dragon worshippers, very dangerous. He has a huge colon. Con dead.
Okay.
He has a huge what?
Golem!
All right. I thought you said colon, and I was like, what?
No, we have a huge colon at this point after what happened.
Yeah.
There is no response.
No, that's fine. Didn't expect one. And as I sort of get up and get ready and stretch and wrap up my poor tail and my hand, have that worsened any, by the way? No. Okay. Good. That's something.
You're not turning into more paper.
No, good. I sort of muttered to myself or to Argyle, sort of, if you could ask, God, what was his name again? Jono, what was his name?
What?
Teswin.
Teswin, thank you. If you could ask Teswin to, really take care of the Oakin for us and just, really mangle him down and sick of kids on him, that would be very nice of you. He just seems like a lot of trouble. And not in the fun way. I mean, I'm fun, aren't I? Honestly, it's the least you could do for me after all of this. And I mean, you're sticking around me. So, I mean, I'm bringing you a lot of entertainment at this point, I imagine.
Oh, yes. I'll think about it.
All right, the rest of you, the sun has risen. Are you all assembling? You're assembling on the Stockstoiler?
I wanted to speak to Con before that happened.
All right, yes, go ahead and speak to Con.
You find me on the deck, looking with mixed feelings about flying on a ship that I like doing, but not with the dragon engine.
Con, I thank you for bringing the information to me, and I am worried. I'm worried about my daughter, more so than I have been ever worried about her before.
Right. Understandable. What has heightened your worry?
Your druid friends. If they put down everybody who fights, their sight will fall on the Sejet for sure. My daughter is within one of their cities. The worst thing that could happen to her is she dies. And I guess the best thing is she get relocated. I cannot let that happen. I hope you understand.
Boss?
You offered me transportation towards the southern Sajeti realms.
I did.
I would like to ask everybody of you to accompany me and solve this issue. It would indebt me to you, and I would follow you to your Sector 13 problems. Otherwise, I will head there on my own.
It's an interesting request you make of me. Look about the ship, with everyone making ready to go forth. cannot force the other captains to do this, of course.
I am well aware of this, yes. Nor would I.
Oh, we'll have to raise it, won't we? I should be blunt with you. I would rather do it in the other way around. But I'm not, as you like to think, in sole command of this outfit. So we will have to put this to the rest of the commanders.
Of course. Excuse my ignorance.
Quite all right. All right. I search about the unfamiliar ship for the nearest speaking horn.
Sure, easy enough to find. They're all over the place.
Hello?
Would the captains and commanders join me on the bridge, please?
All right.
All right. Yeah.
We'll assemble.
What do you want?
One question, Atra. How certain are you of the precise location?
As certain as Adru'sai can be.
And how certain are you, Adru'sai?
What? Of what?
I don't know. What are we talking about?
I'm very certain about a lot of things.
Yes. So Atra would like us to assist him finding his daughter.
Where is his daughter?
Before the Oaken potentially wipes out wherever it is that she is.
Oh, yes. Yes, Kach. It's on the southern border with
I know where that is.
Yeah, I'm telling other people. I know you know.
I don't know it really well, but I think we went on holiday once there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The old king is going to attack the Sajet?
I hope not.
Oh, no, but if the Chong and the Sajet start fighting, since they're neighbors, that's a border town. In fact, it's the town that guards the only really viable pass between the two nations. So
it's quite an interesting place architecturally because it's got quite a lot. Anyway, yeah.
Yes, but look, I'm more than happy to go help you do this, but we kind of need to finish this first.
Okay, a couple of questions first, because I do understand that it's, family. Family is important. Mine are all dead, and that's pretty boring. So, number one, how long would it take to rescue your daughter?
It's pretty well fortified, that place. There's a lot of guards.
I know that.
A lot of slaves.
I know that too.
I mean, it's a particularly guarded facility inside a particularly guarded town.
Yeah, okay.
No offense, Adru'sai, but I don't know if you've noticed. We're not exactly cadets anymore.
Oh, really? I thought we were. Oh my god, I thought it was just a dream this whole time.
Okay.
Thank you for the sarcasm.
Sorry.
Atra, how long will it take you to rescue your daughter?
I am unaware. I'm sure, however, it would go quicker with backup, but it is something that I feel I must do. As to the information that I got from your Adru'sai, she gave me something to look up upon, and I gave me a description of the facility itself, where my daughter is held, and where the entrance to it is. So,
yes,
you know where she is.
Yes, I could give you a rudimentary map of the rough layout of it if you want, but honestly, I'd be more than happy to do this, but I mean, we have a teleporter right here to exactly where we need to go and rescue this and take out this massive engine and everything, and as soon as we're done that, let's go to Kach. Right?
I have another question. Does anyone know if the Sajeti and Well, anyone's gone to fight with the Cpt, because the last time I looked, we're pretty freaking sly about these things. So,
Well, Con may have started a war with Drakenmore, but and honestly, the Chung don't seem like the type to be manipulated into doing anything, much less go into war with the Sajet.
and I mean that particular, yeah. And so, okay, just trying to work things out.
But you do know they are fighting with the dogs, presumably.
They kind of are fighting with the tongue because it's
Listen,
Great.
my dear Commodores, here's the facts of the situation. Atra is going, with or without us. I can see it in his eyes.
I feel we ought to support Atra because he's kind of supported us, and I did say that we would help him, and I don't like breaking promises. I have to be honest.
Of course.
I have a suggestion.
Yes.
How about we send our 3 new guys to gather information on this installation. Give them the tools they need, invisibility, sashes, and whatever we have. Have them gather information at this location. We head out, we rescue Atra's daughter. It should not take that long. And when we get back, we have information on the enemy stronghold, and we go.
I don't like the idea of leaving this place anymore. I mean, we could just step into that. It's like walking through a door at this point.
I know.
But exactly. So we've got a really quick, teleportation circle to take us to where we want to go, right?
Yes, but how could we very quickly get to Kar?
Druids?
Druids.
There are no trees there.
There's one on deck!
Yes, but there's no trees in Kar.
Actually,
There are?
there are.
They're palm
Druid
trees.
circles, and
It's
yeah,
dead.
those two, and we did.
Fine.
Have to, it won't take
That's
long.
if palm trees work. Is there a particular tree type it has to be? Con?
These are no. That's not the problem.
Just
And-
pine trees.
And trees only.
Yeah, it's Bruce.
Only go to the north.
I'm just saying that we have an intense time, intensely, delicately timed operation right here in Pugglesnuff.
I totally hear you. It just shouldn't.
And the Oaken said that he was heading towards the Dwarven and the Drow conflict next, right?
I agree.
I mean,
Adru'sai,
this
but
could be dead within hours, right? We need to go save this, and we need to make them not finish this massive engine that is going to physically bring a bunch of dragons into this world, which
I
could
agree.
actually happen at any moment.
But
Adru'sai takes the 3 captains and gets this, and
we know absolutely nothing about the installation.
No.
Problem. I
That's-
don't
that's-
like going blind into something.
Oh my god! I just don't see it. Look,
No, I'm fine. I see your point. It's just that we need intelligence anyway, and if we can have our 3 friends do that, we can go rescue Atra's daughter in the meantime. Because they're not going to be done in an hour. They're going to need at least a day.
Well, all right. Look, I'm going to need to stay here in that case if the rest of you want to delay this, because none of the rest of you really knows as much about the engines as I do. And
Understood?
I'm going to need to be where this issue is. And I mean, if you want to go, I'll draw you up a map. I'll do whatever I can, and we'll keep in touch with the communication stones. But I think it's madness to not do this first.
I completely hear you, but when haven't we done things that aren't mad?
I mean, point. I'm just saying there's a first for everything.
Yeah, but we
Regardless.
did promise the man, and it's kind
Someone needs to scout the installation.
of. But
We
you
can't
stay
just
in charge.
bumble in
here.
there. This isn't a ship. This isn't an enemy stronghold.
We kind of need to know things like how many people are we dealing with here? Do we need more backup than we got already? Which I expect we do. I'm really worried about this. This is a constant worry.
Probably not really going to get any more, as within any reasonable time.
Well,
I'll go talk to the other captains and see what
All right.
what their idea is, and we'll see.
All right.
I did make a promise. I did say we would help him after he tried to strangle me.
Yes, I mean, I want to help him. Just maybe not this instant. maybe
wanna
we
get
do the thing that we have instantly available to us first. It's like, oh, I have this pressing issue in my hand. I think I'll go put it down and go solve that one over there.
Sometimes that's quite tempting.
Yes, I understand that. I'm just saying right now, maybe we should focus on the immediate problem of dragons coming into our world.
I totally hear you.
I look over at Captain Ty. Holding pattern for the time being, if you would, Captain.
Yes.
Right, you are. Jorik, you find the 3 captains. They're all
Yes.
armed up and standing next to the portal.
I speak to them and I say, so you guys are ready then? I see.
Yes. What's the delay?
The delay is we know very little of the installation in question.
Apparently, we're all
Very
crazy people.
We very much risk running into an ambush or a superior force, and we know nothing. So my question is, would you like to spend this day gathering information on the enemy territory before we go in, so we don't just go in and kill ourselves? Because that would
You
be
know where
bad.
the enemy territory is exactly.
It is somewhere in Pogglesnuff or nearby.
Or
That's what we
underneath.
know.
Presumably
underneath
on the other
on
side of that door.
Yes.
But
Look, I'll
yes,
come
the-
with you. I'll come with you and I'll help you scout. And there's a lot of very worrying things that are potentially in there.
I'm awfully sorry, but through that portal is the enemy that is trying to bring back dragons.
Yes.
I don't care
Yes.
what edicts have been rescinded or not. Our duty is clear. We have sworn
Yes.
an oath to the order to always protect it against dragons. We are
Yes.
going through that one way or another.
I agree. But as I said, we know absolutely nothing on the other side.
Correct. And there's only one way to find
we
out.
are at a huge tactical disadvantage.
That's correct. When has the order ever not been at a tactical disadvantage?
Never. Hello, flying ships?
We have faced situations before where we've gone into enemy territory without very much information. We've always come through it.
Look, just
He says while the other lies in shambles.
Yes.
look, just give me like 20 minutes and I'll come with you and we'll go in and scout out, all right?
15.
15. Right, got it. Just run back out. Atra. Do you use swords? Swords. Do you fight with swords or do you prefer other things like daggers or I don't know?
You've seen me fight in the past. I either fight with a swift blade, a dagger, or if I need to get serious, I have my trusty maul.
Maul. Right. So you're not
con.
interested in this sword then?
Not necessarily, no.
All right. God,
You're
we don't have anyone who really likes swords anymore.
Give it a tie.
Tie!
Here, take
Yes.
this.
Not a magical sword. Here, hold on to this. I need to go burn a book.
You're going to, sorry, what now?
Don't question it. Apparently, we're mad now.
She's, that's not normal for them, and I'm worried about her their mental state, and oh my god, they're gonna burn a book.
Don't worry, Saket.
I really think, has anyone got any
Experimentation
dried
is always their first best talent.
Still, dried frog pills often help with these things.
I am good with money, so yes.
Okay, all right, Atra.
Well, Atra, it seems you have your answer.
We will help you because you have helped us, and then you'll help us again, I'm sure. And
Yes,
Right.
we try and make a
may
good
I
extraction.
suggest that Jorik and I have a change of clothes.
What's
First.
wrong with my clothes?
You're going to need to look a bit more Sagetti for this.
Oh,
To be honest, I
Right.
was thinking more along the lines of Shock and Awe. We really don't have time to dilly-dally on this.
I was with him on that.
Yeah.
Infiltrate as far as we can, but then guns blazing, or whatever that is called.
Arrows flying.
Sword blazing. Okay.
I think I agree, actually. They're not expecting an attack.
I just thought we could sort of get halfway through by just looking like quite, important people in the Sigeti Empire.
Well, we can always all be invisible. This is not a Sigeti installation.
Interesting. But it's in a Sigeti town.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Well, thankfully I had a nice long rest before somebody decided to wake me up.
All right, so
I was told to wake you up before we go.
So we send Adru'sai and those four, those four into scout, and we four go and.
I mean, the one
Get your
thing we need
daughter.
to find is the courtyard in question.
Roger that.
Okay.
All right.
If Adru'sai could just draw me a little map of where it is in the city.
I mean, she told me. I guess I could do the same.
I think we have a map
Okay,
already.
then
It's not too
that's
difficult.
fine.
It's simple enough.
It's I think I know it well enough from when we went on holiday there some time ago, but what's 50 years? It'll be fine.
You're trying to teleport there.
No,
No.
I don't think we're going to teleport.
We're going to use the tree.
Yeah, I thought so too. All right. So the
We'll
four of
make the
you are going to
tree
take a ship and sail somewhere.
I mean, I can teleport far, but not that
I mean,
far.
our dummy tree is on the boat, on the vessel of the Stockstoiver, right where the portal is anyway. So
Sure. It is
So I
a
need to
very
take
small
the-
tree. If you want to take that one, you're more than welcome to.
I
Absolutely.
mean, it seems to be the most.
Needs must. We don't have time to go looking for another tree.
No.
Sure. Makes sense. All right. So you four are going to go through the tree, leaving Adru'sai to do something with the book.
Yes, I'm going to go down and I'm going to grab the Talbot Star. I believe I'm going to grab. And I'm going to just take it without hesitating, walk to the kitchen. And I assume there's like an oven or something in there.
There are massive ovens aboard the Stockstover. Sure.
All right, I'm going to toss it in the oven.
Which one?
The Bastar.
Sure. You take the Talbot Star and you throw it into the fire.
Yes, and I watch it burn.
You
If
watch
it
it
burns.
lie in the fire.
I thought not. I'm going to just take some tongs or something and fish it back out again.
Sure.
Figured it'd be harder than this. Might have to take it to our dear friends.
We need to go to Mount Doom and throw it in the fire where
Yeah.
it was created.
I'm really sorry about this, Argyle, but I mean, honestly, this is for my tale.
This is my tale.
Yes.
Well, you tried.
Okay. Whatever lets you sleep at night. Whatever lets you sleep at night. The four of you crawl through the tree that is on the deck of the Stockstover and very slowly emerge on the other side in a very dry space. Having come from the ocean, you are now very, very far.
In the middle of the desert, yeah.
Yes. There is a heat that isn't immediately apparent. It's almost like there is no temperature here. But slowly you feel your internal organs starting to bubble and boil as you realize just how hot this place actually is. So, Kit, it's quite refreshing to be home. Clean, fresh air, not the scent of water anywhere to be found.
Better sun on skin, yay!
Yes, glorious, glorious sun in vast quantities of vitamin D comes pouring in. But yes, that is definitely what you get. There is also a brilliant yellow glare all around you from the desert reflecting the sun. But
I'll need a moment.
arrived, yes. None of this dark gloom of the Baron's Reach. This heat and light is everywhere.
Well, I did suggest we got changed into Sigeti outfits before we came, if everyone else is hot.
I think you've seen rather enough of me already, thank you.
So how far out of the city are we here?
You are about 3 miles out. There is a druid who is leaning up against the tree that you've stepped out of. It's a small oasis that has obviously been tended. The druid looks you 4 up and down, kind of gives you a casual nod, doesn't say anything, and carries on sort of looking out into the desert.
Nothing to see here. Just brushing the sand in those deserts.
Absolutely.
Right. Well,
Let's get moving.
I've got the cloak, but I'm going to take that off because it's too hot to wear that and pop it in a bag.
So if there's a courtyard we're looking for, is that correct?
Yes.
Particular courtyard. I get this complete description.
It was somewhere in the vicinity, I don't know, the northwest, I guess. I feel, guy, like, correct me if I'm wrong, right? It was somewhere in the northwest of the city and with the following characteristics.
Very good. I turn into a desert bird of some description. Bird of prey.
A vulture.
Yeah, I was vulture as well, my man.
And then flap off towards the distant city.
All right.
I jump upon pebbles.
Where did that come from?
Well, I guess I'm running.
Yeah.
Actually, Siket, do you have any faster method of travel, or is it just feet?
Well, we normally take camel, but
I meant you.
With you.
oh, well, it's
Actually, Siket, Atra, your horse can take another person.
Sure.
All right, get up there. And then Jorik focuses for a bit and sprouts a pair of large bat wings.
Don't you think it might be a bit obvious?
Yes, but it's faster than walking. Let's
3
go.
miles really is.
okay. We need to get this done quite quickly, so let's just go.
Hey-ya!
About the horse.
However, I will use the amulet of alter self and make myself into a jet. So
There you go. So 2 Sajeti riding a horse, flanked by a vulture and a large black-winged demon from hell.
I mean, he doesn't necessarily need to be directly with us, right?
I will be flying near
I
ground
have
level.
gone ahead specifically to see if I can identify this courtyard, or at least a group of suspect courtyards that fit the description.
Sure, not a problem. You have indeed identified a few courtyards that do match from the angle, from the description of the mountain range. It's like, I think it's one of those.
The one thing we do know is this particular tower that you mentioned in the initial description. So there should be like an area of, I don't know, like 500 like 500 square meters or whatever, right? Like
Correct. I want everyone to roll initiatives, if you please.
Everybody.
14.
Yeah.
13 for Con.
14.
Wow, that's
16.
bad for me. 11.
11
13.
for Jorik. Was that 13 for Siket?
Mm-hmm.
Atra.
16.
Adru'sai.
6.
Okie dokes. All right. Back on the Stockstoiver, Captain Ballo looks at you, Adru'sai. You ready?
One question first. How long does that destroying artifacts ritual take?
Depends on the artifact, but anywhere between an hour and 4 hours.
This book. We could maybe deal with that when we come back.
Yertan Tyr, the elf, looks at the book. That's not draconic.
No, but it's very important that you help me destroy it.
There is a dragon in it.
Yeah, technically. It's very important because I fear that I might be heading towards a rather ugly and premature death if we don't reduce the number of these we have on board.
I'm trying to understand what you're asking us to do here.
It's a magical book, and I want you to help me destroy it.
Yes, no, I understand that, but I think you'll find that under Edict 1, we are purposefully here to destroy dragon artifacts.
Yes, but can't you do this on your free time?
Free time being between now and scouting out a facility that is known to be a dragon hive.
Whenever there is time.
Right.
I mean, if it takes between 1 to 4 hours, I agree with you that we should possibly wait until after the scouting. Yes, but would you help me destroy it at some point in the near future?
Once the dragons no longer pose a threat, then yes.
And that might take a little too long. But as soon as we have a moment, maybe.
What
This
we
is
achieve
more
world
dangerous than
peace, no
dragons.
problem.
And I thought Jorik was a stuck-up, single-minded fellow.
No, that's fine. I'll just put it here in this drawer, right? And we can get back to it. I'm just going to lock the drawer and bring the key.
Right.
And then we can deal with that when we get back.
Are
If
you
that's-
now ready?
Yes. Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure. I'm fine. Let's go. There's a massive engine being built that's going to bring dragons into this world. We have to go now.
Right. Thankfully, the good Archon had not destroyed our equipment. We found it whilst looking below deck.
Ooh, good.
Cantir, if you please. The elf rummages in a satchel and pulls out this perfectly silver sphere and basically just places his hand on it, and all four of you vanish.
Ooh. Never to be seen again.
There is a voice which says, "Step into the portal, please, Captain Adru'sai."
Oh, I see.
invisible.
Okay. Yes, I see that now. It took me a second.
Do you,
All right.
do you see that?
No,
I
no.
don't see that.
I step into the portal.
All right. Atra,
I have
you
a
are...
feeling, Adru'sai, that you should be wearing this shirt today instead of us.
Yes. What about the dragons?
Atra, you are riding up towards the city. You can see the large sand skiffs that sail out over the desert sands, moving in and out of the city, heading northwards, as that is pretty much the only direction you can head to go into the Sajeti territories. To the south is the Chungdar kingdoms. As you approach, no one bats an eyelid. They are all busy going about their daily tasks. They seem completely unbothered. Like you said, you made yourself look Sajeti. You've got a Sajeti female on the back, so it's assumedly that the two of you are just traveling.
And I will have been flying behind Pebbles so that I'm not that visible from a distance. And once we get into a visual distance, I'll basically just get rid of the wings and run.
All right. And you've got an elf slave behind you. So...
Exactly.
It's your turn.
I am actually that particular type of elf, so yes, I guess I'm a slave.
Let's stay here for a while.
Have so much fun with this.
Retribution.
Con, would you please give me an investigate check?
So where we would be heading probably would be the foot of the tower that we know.
Sure.
So
Absolutely.
kind of that we have like a place of a point of interest where Con would then also be able to find us again.
17.
As you get to the base of the tower, there is a vulture slowly wheeling around the structure itself. Con, you spot a courtyard that matches the description almost perfectly. And when you see that there is this symbol of a squid with snakes for its tentacles as a mosaic in a floor on the floor, obviously, in a small room that has an opening to the sky, you realize that this must be the place. You can see that it is a standard four-walled complex with the left-hand side, with a structure that's been built up against the wall. Like I said, that structure, the second floor, has got an open-topped entrance into this mosaic room, which must be some kind of bathing chamber. It would command quite a nice view of the city from this position. And with sort of cotton curtains, you could imagine it being an amazing entertaining room for the evenings. There's a set of stairs in that room which goes down into the actual structure itself. In the courtyard, you can see two tieflings busy patrolling. They seem to be fairly lightly armed and armored in this heat. It's not unsurprising. Other than that, that's all you can see.
I set up a tight circling above this building and look out. So anyone looking for a vulture would see that
one of thousands
circling a very specific building. But then once I've done that, I'm going to be looking for the others, see where they are coming from.
Absolutely. The three of you, it's not difficult to see the con vulture. He's also the only vulture who appears to be circling fairly low over the city. The rest are all busy climbing the thermals up towards the heavens so that they can spot carcasses. So it's fairly straightforward to make your way through the streets. The city is quite crowded. There's lots of merchants going on, busy working out things. It's probably about, say 6 o'clock in the evening. The sun will start to set in about 2 hours as it makes its way towards the west.
Okay. All right, we'll make our way there.
The structure itself has got a large set of double doors which would lead into the compound. Those are closed.
So how do you want to do this, Atra?
So before we just stroll up to the front gates here, does Con point out the guards? And also, do we also see or find or hear or perceive in any shape or form guards or eyes that watch the entrance?
Well, it's difficult for a vulture to point out guards, so I'm not sure how you would do that.
They're on the inside, right?
Yep.
So then there is an entrance through the roof, right? If they're on the inside in this kind of sunroof open...
Well, there's a courtyard, and then there's a building in that courtyard, and that has a second floor, which has got an opening in the roof, yes.
Right.
Well, once I see my compatriots are in the vicinity, I would glide down behind a building.
Sure.
Resume my con-like state.
All right.
Mark! Oh, sorry.
I saw only 2 guards in the courtyard. I would recommend, since we all have the capacity, that it would be a good idea to go in through the roof rather than through the front door.
All right.
Fun.
And do we agree that we try to be silent and
Right up
As
until
long as possible.
undetected as possible, as long yes.
Yes.
I will attempt this new tactic for me.
Atra, can you carry Saket? I can get up on my own.
So how narrow are the streets? That's actually, like, I envision this a little bit like a Turkish city with like these roofs, these flat rooftops, and whitewashed kind of
Exactly like that. Yep.
sandstone.
Morocco. Yep.
So then we could just climb up somewhere else and then just make our ways through over the roofs.
Probably.
To a large degree, yes, you certainly can. Yeah, if that's the route you want to take, you can, yes.
Yeah, so I think that would be the easiest then, right? Rather than just climbing up the house we want to infiltrate and just like one looking outside, what's going on here? And it's like, hey, what up?
All right, so that's what you're going to be doing.
Find a way to the rooftops.
Yeah, finding a way to the rooftops. Adru'sai, as you see the magic runes lighting up on the teleportation circle, Captain Ballo says to you, right, stick within 5 feet of where you currently are. We will head through the first door, see what's going on, and then get back into the portal. Is that clear?
Oh, you want me to stay here?
No, I want you to come with us, but I'm saying we will be within 5 feet of where you currently are. We're invisible. We can't see one another.
Yes. Oh, I thought you meant like at this spot, all right? But I can scout ahead using an arcane eye, if you want. I feel like that might be a little risky.
Using the arcane eye.
What?
Using the arcane eye, you mean?
Yes.
That
Less risky.
No,
Less risky.
Less risky. Because if there is some kind of sensor that discovers invisible things, then it will see an eye and not for people infiltrating.
It also depends on how invisible you are, right?
Are you aware that they have invisibility detection?
I'm assuming that they have invisibility detection.
You are aware also because they saw your
Yeah,
stride.
Flaunt did
That's
see.
true. Flunt
Right.
also can spot me, can spot invisible things. And he's around here. I'm just saying, as we move, I'll keep the eye ahead and I'll warn you if something shows up.
Right. There you go. You may finish it, Meon. Meon places, you assume, a body part over the final rune, which initiates the teleportation circle. There is a brief, brilliant flash of energy, and a prickling sensation of static runs across your fur, and suddenly you are standing in a very white room. There is a large door on the far side of the room.
Right. Does it look like it's locked or barred somehow, or is it
It just looks closed. There is no sound apart from... No, there is a sound. It's a constant rumbling noise that assails your senses.
almost possibly like ocean rumbling or machine rumbling?
Machine rumbling more than ocean rumbling.
Right.
I mean, it's a goblin gnome
Yeah.
kind of facility. I mean,
I'm gonna sort of move up to the door and sort of try to crack it a little so I can send the eye through.
Give me a dexterity check.
Okay. Not a saving throw, just a...
No, it's a check.
All right, 13.
Ow! What the? Get back to your position.
Why? I was just a scout.
The door is slowly opened by somebody.
Right. Okay. Fine. It's just...
All right, you cast your arcane eye, and it drifts out into the corridor.
Yes.
Back to the four of you. You've scaled up a walkway, which has led to a second level of the markets and sort of stalls up here, and you've wound across the rooftops or landings or whatever you want to call them, and have made your way towards the compound. From here, you can see into the courtyard, and you can see the two guards that are busy. Currently, they're sitting down, sharing, looks like a gourd of water with one another. They don't seem to be particularly paying attention to life.
they're tieflings, you said?
They are tieflings, yep. And they seem to be enjoying this hot, late afternoon sun.
And we can just see the two of them.
Correct.
Well, time to materialize my weapon.
So, Atra, you're acting first. What do you think?
Making sure that everybody is ready to supposedly silently take these people out as possible as that might be. You're muted, Tobias. Can't hear you.
Sadly, we can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. I said, how do you take someone out silently with a giant maul?
You can just strangle them, as I did with the
Yeah.
oracle.
I want to see how you take someone out silently with a lightning bolt.
Fireball. I silently throw my grenade.
Yes.
It's silent if there's no one left to hear you.
There you
Exactly.
go.
Well, if it
Right,
was from a
natural
modern video game, so sure it's silent, just fucked.
Yeah, so making ready that everybody's on the same page, so it's not just like one jumping after the other, so we actually get the drop on them, right?
Sure.
And then I'll just point at one and see if everybody else is ready to get.
They are ready.
Then, hiya, I guess.
All right.
Overhead smash.
Sure.
Okay. So you want us to go right into attacks, or is anything else happening whilst? And how deep is from the ceiling to ground level? How deep is it?
15 feet.
That's not a problem for me, I guess. So yep. I jump down, feather my fall with the wings,
Sure.
and slam. And I hope I surprise him.
Plunging attack.
Exactly.
Yes.
Hulk smash. Okay.
What's your attack? You have advantage.
So I have advantage? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. How about a 28?
Yep, of course it hits.
All right. Very nice. That is 23 points of damage.
Sure. He's
And
dead.
yeah, I'll just add that next one is with advantage is a crit. So that's a big number. The second roll is an 18. So that's like times 4, right? I think it was.
Yeah. Now
Okay.
because that'll be more than 20 damage.
Yeah. Okay.
First
Then,
one's dead.
depending how close they are together, I get
You're sitting next to each other.
So I get a third attack.
Sure.
How convenient. I assume this one is not with advantage anymore.
No.
So it would be 17 to AC then.
That's a hit.
For 29 points of bludgeoning damage.
Ow. 29 points. He is unhappy.
Yes. And so how this looks is basically just jumping down and like just, I assume, like how I envision it is they are sitting around like a table in like some sort of chairs, and the one just gets like slammed into the chair onto the ground and then basically smashed in between the ground and the the mall, right? It's
absolutely
wild.
Just an uppercut golf swing under the
whilst
chin
I
of
just
the
use
guy.
the end of the stick to just like smash ram it into the belly, into the tummy of the other one.
There you go. Saket.
You're muted.
Sorry, I have cat disturbances going on. Right. Saket is like, oh, well, that went, well, that was quick.
There is still one standing. Barely.
Yes, but how close is he to Atra right now?
Oh, 2 feet.
Yeah, you see.
Yeah, probably not time for like flaming hands or something.
Has the
No.
pummel of the grip in his abdomen right now.
Correct.
Okay.
He is 15 feet away from you, if that helps.
That's kind of okay. I will use. Oh, I've got all my sorcery points back, so that's useful remembering. Right there, I will use careful spell, and and I will cast Witch's Bolt on the remaining target.
That's not an AoE spell.
No,
It's
that's
not?
a targeted spell, isn't it? Yeah. So
Okay.
just
All right.
roll for attack.
Right, I need to make a ranged spell attack.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fun. So that's 22.
That's a hit.
Nice. And then one moment, please. I need one of, not that one. I need that one. Yes. Well, 8.
8 damage.
Not great, but it'll have to do.
He dies. He had 4 hit points left. So he kind of gets hit in the stomach, and then as he's reaching up, desperate for breath, this bolt slams into him and just frazzles him completely. He drops dead. The courtyard is empty.
Right. Well, I believe that's the first step done, my friends. Shall we continue?
Jurik's gonna hop down and drag the bodies behind something so they don't lie open in the open.
Con?
Yeah.
Is the only way down from this point to climb, jump down, basically.
Yeah.
The convenient stair. Okay, fine. Well, it's only 15 feet to lower myself down somehow.
I mean, you can just like do the
the
Tomb
hang
Raider
and
move,
drop.
right? Like letting you like.
Hang and drop.
Yeah, exactly. Then it shouldn't be more than 10 feet, right? I mean.
Right next.
Okay, so while the rest kind of situates themselves down, I already would be looking around to see if there are any windows looking courtside here, how many exits there are aside from the big double door. We are on the first level right now, right?
You're on the ground floor, yeah.
On the ground floor. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is one of the things that's different between Americans and Europeans. First level for me is one up,
Yeah.
right? So like if I think say first level, I mean like one staircase up from ground, right? So
It makes logical sense.
It
really.
does. The Japanese also, they treat ground floor as first floor.
yeah, well, like
Frazzles my mind.
So we are,
That's the base
we are
floor.
on ground level then.
I beg your pardon?
So we are on the ground level.
You're on the
then.
ground level, correct.
Okay, so kind of taking a look around and see if there are any staircase leading downstairs or any kind of doors, right?
Yes, there is the trapdoor that was described that leads down the staircase.
Okay, so we already have see
down.
this.
You know
so
where
this
that
is
Yes,
so this is the courtyard in question, basically.
correct. Absolutely. Correct. There is, of course, a structure, but Adru'sai didn't mention anything about what happened in there, simply because the eye didn't ever go into that area. It does have windows looking out over the courtyard, but there doesn't seem to be anybody in that structure. That looks very much as if it's a front. This is not very often used, obviously.
So then I would quickly kind of over like a stage whisper, kind of like, right? Kind of say to everybody, so how do we want to do this, basically? Like the idea is like we can almost make everybody invisible in this group, and I think it would be easier to then just, rather than making like a big panic with all the people inside, because they would want to get out and we want to get in, and that's kind of like a a problem that direction, if that's the way, or we actually just want to go in there and just like fireball swinging. And
No, let's sneak inside.
okay.
But
So,
stealth is always
any-
good.
Anybody needs help with that?
What, stealthing?
No, being invisible.
Oh, I'm not very good at turning myself invisible, I have to admit. What about you, Con?
Do you have your sash still gone?
Yes.
All right. So
So I can make
helps.
if I need to cast invisible, I can make 3 people invisible.
Oh, very nice.
I don't have much choice in that. If I use invisible,
All right.
I cast.
Happens anyway.
take Con and Saket. I'll deal with myself.
So then the next thing would be I'll just give somebody my tail so we don't lose each other. I don't know how you guys want to keep like somewhat connected.
Well, let's see what's on the other side of the door. If it's just like a stairwell going down, then we won't lose each other.
Sure, I'm just like there should be like somewhat of like a
Yeah.
there should be a plan towards.
We're kind of like a small train. Like someone's holding your tail and then hand on
Yeah.
the shoulder. And
Okay.
heading down.
I gingerly take the tail.
You want to be in the rear, or you want to be?
Just don't release any wind, okay?
I just think about the order right now. Who wants?
Jorik goes first.
You go
Jorik
first.
goes
Okay, then I would be second.
Okay, me third.
Okay, so then 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so yeah, just try to open the doors after turning invisible.
Sure thing. The eye reveals that there is a T-junction that this door opens into. The corridor leads to the left and to the right. There are gnomes wandering up and down everywhere. This is now Adru'sai's space of the world.
Yeah, I was like, what? No?
So there's left and right, and then there's one ahead, or
No, left and right. Left and right.
only left and right. Then there's a corridor, not a T-junction.
Yes, I realised that after I said it. Well, from the door.
You and your T-junctions.
I do like tea. Maybe it's just because I like tea.
Everything's
Anyway,
a
the corridor
T-junction.
leads away left and right, or north and south, or east and west, whichever way you like to choose.
Yes.
And there are gnomes busy walking up and down it. Several are carrying cartloads of stone or pushing cartloads of stone. There are others that are using magic to control the flow of these large discs carrying quite heavy weights on them. Every now and again, you see a very large hulking golem walk past, carrying easily 4 or 5 tons of granite or black material heading off in different directions, but no one seems to pay very much attention to your eye.
Yeah. How big is this corridor?
Probably about 30 foot wide. And
All
maybe
right. So
high.
hopefully there'll be enough for us to sort of squeeze along one wall at least.
Sure. A hand taps you on your shoulder and you sort of feel pressure to move forward or pull back.
Yes. I'll just sort of whisper, I'll tap your hand if I... God damn it. I'll tap your hand if something's coming. Right, and I sort of move forwards and we try to avoid the nubs as best we can. And I'll sort of just keep the eye floating ahead and trying to scout.
Sure.
Through
Which direction are you going in?
Left.
All right. Left leads you into this impressively large chamber. There is no doubt that this space is half a mile long and maybe 200 yards wide.
So this is a cavern, or is this above?
It's difficult to tell. There's no windows. But the ceiling is, again, 60 foot high.
So it's subterrestrial.
Yeah, either that or it's one mega building.
It doesn't look like there's natural
No,
curvature
this has
in the...
all been carved out of this white limestone.
Yes.
And again, you can see there are masons busy working on the stonework, even as others are walking past, busy starting to carve in detailing into this hall, which just is this noise of workmen and crafting and construction going on. As another section is busy being tiled with this ornate glass tile that has this rather beautiful blue iridescence to it that sort of shimmers in the light. There are a dozen corridors leading off of this cavern. Some are only 10 foot high and 10 foot wide. Others, well, there's one that's also 50 foot wide, 60 foot high. And then there are more off in different directions.
Yes. I speak Gnomish, so sort of listening in what people are talking about. Am I getting any clues as to sort of the directions of things? Like, are there signage? Like, trying to orient myself.
There isn't any signage, and the conversations that you're hearing are things like, all right, well, best you bring in another 20 packs, all right? And that we should get done before lunch, and then after that we can start on the third square over there. All right, okie dokes, 20 packs, yeah? Yeah, I'll get you 20 packs. And then that sort of drifts off over there, and then other voices, it's like, oh, did you hear? The Ironwoods arrived. Well, that's going to be quite impressive, isn't it? I think so. All right, let's see what that's going to look like. I wonder how they're going to move that through. Well, they use the golems, won't they? Of course they'll use the golems. There's no point in not using the golems. Some people are like, time scale's a bit tight. I will agree with that. But when it's finished, there won't be a structure like this anywhere else in the world. That's for certain. This is a legacy.
Well, are any of the golems carrying any of the materials that Dorek showed me in the papers? Like the stone or the ironwood or...
Well, yes, one of the golems does march past with this massive armful of very square tinned lumber as it's busy moving past you. Looks like
Yes.
ironwood.
I sort of tap the hand a little bit, and I just sort of turn around and sort of feeling for a face, just sort of turning it towards the golem.
Okay.
And to sort of lean in basically sort of like this close to the ear and just go, the golem, follow that one.
Do I roll a natural 20? No. There isn't a passing workman who suddenly hears this voice.
Yes, it's quite enough to... Okay.
Yeah.
No, natural 20s. I get you.
Sure. You are starting to follow the golem carrying the ironwood.
Yes.
Back to the four of you. You are opening the hatch that leads down to the stairwell. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And Jorik,
And move down it as fast as we can and as quietly as we can.
Basically reverse follow the patrolling route from this one guy, right?
Right.
Yeah, I would have described things as well as I could, which is probably quite well.
Sure. Absolutely. Not a problem. Interesting. Okay. Well, you open up the hatch, you start going down the stairs, and it is quite a descent, as you recall from the descriptor, until you start to arrive in the subterranean caverns, this red rock that has been carved into this warren-like space. It definitely reminds you, Atra, of home. There is the familiar smell of blood, sweat, and death that permeates all tiefling.
Home.
Yes, not the greatest of aromas that you've encountered, Secret.
Fresh brimstone.
Yes, fresh to spare.
Love
Oh,
the smell
homely.
of etc. in the morning.
You slowly make your way through all of these spaces, and I think everyone was present when you got the descriptor of these workrooms filled with slaves chained to desks, busy manufacturing pottery and the like. There is, however, a disturbance. Several men are approaching at quite speed. They're not being very subtle about it. They're running down the corridor. In Tiefling, they're busy saying, "Someone's tripped the alarm. We need to go and check it out." That's what you hear running up the corridor towards you. It might not be necessarily wide enough for if they're traveling as a group, for them to miss the four of you if you stay in the corridor. You can obviously step into one of the side rooms if you so choose.
I think we should step into a side
Yeah, I
room.
mean, I certainly understand what they were saying, so I would just like grab Jorik's shoulder and just like push him towards one of the side rooms, I guess.
Sure.
Yep.
And then the whole Congo line kind of moves into the side room.
I mean, depending on how this is situated, and if there's like a small kind of tunnel leading towards one of the doors, and the door is not necessarily directly
Sure.
on the corridor itself, then we
Like that.
don't even need to open a door. If we need to, then sure, right? But
Correct. Not a problem. Yeah, as you do that, a squad of 6 fairly heavily armed tieflings go charging past towards the staircase. It takes a few moments and they're gone.
yeah, and then after a few moments and they're past, I whisper into Yorik's ear that we apparently have tripped a trap, or an alarm for that matter, and we probably should hurry. We might need to get out of here a little bit more.
All right, let's go.
So I would say this loud enough for everybody to hear, but not loud enough for everybody to hear, if you get me.
Hopefully. You make your way down more corridors until you get to another set of steps and down even more steps. And how long does invisibility last? For an hour, right?
Indeed.
All right. So,
Not mine. Mine lasts for a minute before I need to refresh it.
all right. So every now and again, there's a flash. Yeah, it takes you a good 15 minutes to make your way all the way down to the final level.
Mhm.
There's some maths going on from Jorik's side.
Yes.
15 is the number that you need to multiply your costs with.
I
And
had to mark them out too.
yeah, there is a point, however, that you get to where it's very clear that Something
Not
they're aware that there is someone moving through their facility, because as you come around the corner, a very ragtag set of tables has been thrown up at the end of the corridor, with several large tieflings behind it, all busy prepped.
So the information get from the top quicker than we could to the bottom of the installation?
Yep.
Okay.
It's likely the information got down there, and that's why the guards were running up, and they did this at the same time.
Well, I mean,
there's a solution. Don't fret about it. Well,
I'm just asking, like, where exactly we are. So we are on the lower. We are on the final.
Yeah, you're about to get as deep as you think you can possibly go. I mean, Adru'sai described that this man wandered corridors for a good 40 minutes.
I mean, we are maybe it goes even deeper, but that's not something I would care about, right? So we're going to the goal kind of level.
Correct. And you think you're either there or you're just about there.
Sure.
But this barricade has been thrown up, and there are 4 tieflings behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And each one of them has one of the children in front of them as a shield, basically.
Mm-hmm.
They don't seem to be aware of your presence. They're just looking like people who have been told, watch out and don't let anyone come through this corridor.
Of the 4 children, one of them I actually care about?
No.
Okay.
Is there a way for us to get over or around the barricade without making too much noise?
You're going to have to fly.
Well, that's convenient.
I can't do that and be invisible at the same time, unfortunately.
Yeah. All right, you ponder that. All right. Adru'sai, you followed this golem with his iron wood as he's moved down several corridors. And this has led to a big chamber, not as big as the gigantic cavern of the previous one. This big chamber appears to be lined with ironwood. And I mean, this chamber must be worth an absolute fortune. But what is more remarkable is that the one side of this chamber is glass. And it looks into a very large circular space that has a very familiar green glow emanating from it.
Yes. What kind of people are in this? I'm assuming some sort of observation room.
It does look like it's an observation room, yeah, but there are people in it on gnomes.
Yes. Is it above the sort of level of this other room where this engine presumably is? Yes. Can I see the engine through the glass?
Sure. You walk over towards the edge where this glass is, and you realize a few things. One, the glass is incredibly thick. Easily, it's a foot in thickness. So you're trying to remember your studies on refraction, and you think it's making the room beyond seem bigger, or is it smaller? You're not sure. Anyway, it certainly allows you a view down into this space, and below you there is, again, it's a massive circular chamber, probably around 300 yards in diameter, this big circular chamber. And in the center of it, there appears to be a stepped pyramid. And at the top of the stepped pyramid, there is this large circular plinth with these 2 massive arms that rise out of the top of it, or the sides of it, that are very slowly rotating. And as they're rotating, they're creating this green ball of energy in the middle of this disk. However, offset at each of the 3 corners in a triangular shape around this disk, there are 3 further disks. And each of those disks, those 3 disks, contain a very odd-looking metal structure. I say odd looking because it looks like a cage, quite a large cage, about that big in size, that within it contains more of this green energy. And those cages are rotating as well. So you've got 3 rotating cages in a triangular shape around the central disk, with those arms rotating as well. Now, standing at the base of this whole rotational device, you can very clearly see Deacon Flunt, plus the gnome Ganadani, as well as another gnomish individual, a female, who has this very high-backed collar and carries herself with a casual arrogance of leadership.
Yes.
And standing about 3 foot behind her is this very tall, maybe 7 foot tall, very gaunt-looking creature. It doesn't seem to move. It doesn't have eyes. It's just socketless, sort of almost skull, but there is some gray flesh upon it. It's just standing behind her. And the 3 of them seem to be talking about something, when suddenly this dragon head appears in the central dais and starts to converse with them. Sadly, because of the thickness of the glass, you cannot hear what is going on.
Would can I lip read a dragon? I don't know if the anatomy is different enough.
Yeah, sadly, it does seem to be beyond you, because the thing seems to be smiling all the time and talking through its teeth.
It needs lips to be able to lip read.
Back to the 4 of you.
All right, I guess we fight.
We can't go stealthy anymore? I mean, how close are we to your daughter now?
So as far as I understand this, everybody should know this, right? We are going to get to the final level, and each individual level isn't huge. It's more like the amount of levels kind of put on top of each other, which make this kind of installation as huge as it is. That's how I understood it, at least. Right?
Yeah.
So we're talking about like would be there in the next 5-ish minutes, I guess. Okay. So yeah.
Right. Let's make this quick. Here's what Jorik says.
This is right. But can we not have collateral damage on the children?
Yeah, I'll try. Jorik's gonna start dashing. Actually, we're gonna walk up to the.
Well, you're all invisible at the moment, so it's
we're all invisible. So we're gonna walk up to the barricade, and Jorik's just gonna. How high is it? Can I jump over it? I mean, I'm gonna make noise, but can I jump?
Barricade's at about 5 foot in height,
so we can jump over.
I have 20 dex. I can jump that.
Sure thing.
Is it dex though, or acrobatics to jump over?
That kind of takes out my wall of fire tactic, but I mean, there's children, so.
Yeah.
How many children are there, by the way?
4 children.
That is 19.
Sure, you vault over it, no problemo.
And they stand right behind it, or is there a gap?
No, there's a gap.
Yeah.
And the children and the guards?
No, they have them basically like knife to throat kind of situation going.
I'm going to return the favor on that knife to the throat and stab the first fellow I reach with a Psyblade in the throat.
That's what you're going to do.
Yeah, but when he jumps over, I would then try to follow suit.
Sure thing. You don't see him because he's invisible.
Yeah, but I see him kind of starting to
attack.
Move quickly, right? So I mean that's fairly
correct.
Yeah, with a flick, kind of freeing myself of the grasp of my on my tail, I would then also kind of start to move up and leap over the barricade if necessary, with the help of my wangs.
Yeah, I was going to say you don't have to make a check. Con, what are you doing? Everyone's moving up forward.
As soon as people start appearing, I will conjure my trusty mastiffs behind the barricade.
Right. And behind the guards, I'm assuming?
And I will instruct them. Well, I get
8, right?
8. That's right. Thank you. 4 of the mastiffs are to take the children to safety, or at least take them out of the fight. And the other 4 are to assist by attacking the people holding the children.
Right, you are. And to be clear, the mastiffs you're summoning on the other side of the guards?
Well,
In their backspace.
Amidst the guards, yes.
Oh, all right. Got you.
They've got to be close enough to act.
Sure. Saket?
Well, as soon as Con has enacted the mastiffs, I can use Scorching Ray, but I because Jorek's taking out one of them.
Sure
So, okay, so
Thunderbolted lightning, very, very.
There we go. All right, Jorik, make your attack.
That's a 30 to hit.
That's a hit.
And 20 damage.
Sure thing. You slam into 3 damage.
Yes, and another 24 damage.
Sure thing. You slice into him. He grunts.
Stab.
Atra, make your attack.
So what I want to do, rather than just going for an all-out kill here, I also want to kind of try to not just like Hulk smash the children into paste as well.
Right.
So what I would like to do is basically, so they are literally like with the knife to their throats, or
No. They didn't know when you were coming, so they're standing holding the back of the child, and then in the other hands they have this long sword that they're sort of getting ready for, but they didn't know when you were going to come around the corner.
Okay, so here's my mind image. So I assume the children are like smaller than the guards themselves,
Sure.
like in height.
Yes.
Okay, and I am basically taking like a running start and then leaping over this barricade, basically,
Yes.
right? What I want to do is situate the bar, the handle of the maul, sideways to basically crossbar them and just like push them back away from the children. And since they don't see me necessarily, hopefully surprising them enough to kind of separate the children from
From
their guards or their captives.
Make your attack.
So what do you want me to do here? Just an attack?
Yeah, well, you want to hit them first. So, well, it's I suppose it's like a reverse grapple, isn't it? So give me an athletics check.
It's like a push, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You have
Athletics.
advantage because I don't know you there.
Okay, that's 16.
16 versus my 13, you win. You push them back 5 feet.
Yeah, and then I would then land, obviously, now
Let's
that
go,
the
let's go.
kinetic energy is discharged into them, kind of land in front of them, get visible. And since I cannot concentrate, I'm horned again, so I'm a tiefling.
Sure thing. All right.
And I just smile my teeth at them and say, like, where is she? And then I continue to slap them and not wait for answers. But I guess that's my action. So.
That's your actions. Con, your mastiffs appear. Can they attack on the same turn?
They get their own initiative.
They get initiative, yeah.
All right.
Well, now.
Well, it doesn't really matter because we're not using initiative in this round. They can attack. Guards didn't know that you were coming.
So I don't know how you want to handle the 4 mastiffs that are trying to carry children away.
Sure. The one is easy.
So shall
Well,
I
the one kid is free already. The
Right.
other 3, well, we'll see what the guards do.
Oh, couldn't I just push more than one of them? That's what I wanted to do, right?
In my head, it was like 2 people that got smashed.
Yeah.
Well, let me just give it the strength check for the other one.
That was the idea. Otherwise, I just kill one dude, and then that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. 2 kids are free. I don't have a problem with that.
So I'll roll attacks for the mastiffs versus the guards.
Yes, please.
I'm guessing that's not going to do it. For number 1, that's 7.
No. Sadly, 7, that won't do it.
Number 2 is 15.
That'll do it.
Yay. So that's that. And he will need to make a strength saving throw or be knocked prone as the teeth do him 2 points of damage.
Oh, he's not the good, strong guard. He was the weakling one. His strength save is 10.
Ah, no good. He goes down.
2 points
No
of damage.
advantage.
And he takes 2 points of damage from the bite.
And he's
And
prone.
the rest of the attacks against him have advantage if they're melee.
Yeah, he's knocked prone.
Yeah. Okay.
And number 3, 12.
Nope.
Number 4, 16.
Nope.
Oh dear. Right, that's the 4 mastiff attacks. I don't know what to say. The other 4 mastiffs are trying to carry children off.
Correct. Okay, so 2 of them are guarded by mastiffs who can take the kids closer to the barrier, basically.
Yeah, just away from the fight.
Yes. The other 2, the kids are still being held.
Right.
So what are the mastiffs going to do there? They're going to try and pull the kids away?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's the idea that because there's 8 mastiffs, so the 2 guards who are still holding children are being attacked by mastiffs at the same time as mastiffs are trying to pull the children out of their hands. So I don't know how that.
All right, give me strength checks for the mastiffs, please.
Okay. Ooh, that is 14 for the first.
That does not beat the one hobgoblin, so he's still holding his child.
And 16 for the second.
15, so that beats. So you've got 3 free kids and 1 still being held. Mastiff protection.
That's a massive protection these kids have.
It is indeed. All right, that's your round of death and devastation, except for you, Saket. What are you doing?
Right, another careful spell.
Sure.
And I will use Scorching Ray on the...
Still not an AoE spell.
You don't need to use a careful spell for that. It's targeted.
Oh, that's true. Okay. All right. So I don't use careful spell.
Good. Make your attack.
Make my attack.
Are you attacking the one that still has a child?
I think I'm going to attack the other 3.
Okie dokes.
What is happening? Oh, God. Oh, okay. Never mind. That's okay. It's another 22. And damage will be
3 attacks.
those. Oh, yeah. I need to do more.
You're doing it against the other 3, right? So the first one, what was your attack?
The
22.
first one was 22, and the damage for him was 7.
All right.
Oh, yeah, that's a complete balls up. So the second one is 11.
That's a miss.
And then the third one is a natural 20, so that's 24.
Nice. Roll the 20 again.
And that would be 13.
It has to be higher than 24.
No, my
It's
spell.
that's your proficiency.
Doesn't matter. 24 still a hit. You rolled a 13, so that's 3 times the damage.
All right, so.
But the 11 might have hit. That's why.
No, the 11
Okay.
did not hit.
Yeah, but it is probably not an 11.
Well, okay, we'll discuss it later. We'll talk about what I've done wrong with my stats later again. Okay, so 8 plus 10 plus 5 is
23.
18 plus 5, thank you. 23.
All right. Slams into him, knocks him back. And Adru'sai, you are watching this conversation happening
Yes.
when all of a sudden the dragon that is busy talking to these individuals, it seems to just look up. And you don't need to be a lip reader to see that it has seen you, because the 3 of them that are down there immediately turn to look up at the glass window after the dragon has looked at you.
Right. Huh? Okay, go.
You start pushing them out.
Yes, I started pushing the rest of them out.
All right.
Although, I'm thinking If you're gonna do something else, I'm gonna think about it for a second.
Are you sure?
No, I think I'm just gonna hiss at them to like get out, hide, and then I kind of want to use alter self to turn into a gnome.
Okay. As they run away from you, you become visible, and then you use alter self to turn into a gnome.
Yes, I mean, hopefully before I turn visible, I'll turn into a gnome, and then I'll try to sort of blend in with the rest of the gnomes that I hear.
Okie dokes. We'll find out if that works when we return next week. Continues. Until then, thanks for watching. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and the golden bell will allow you to know when new episodes come out, which is usually on Mondays. Quick game review will follow shortly. And let's see who does it first. That is Simon. You're up first. Very quick review, if you please.
Again? Okay. So it was a very interesting episode for me, at least, because of certain things outside the game that influenced the decision on what I wanted to do, as well as basically the revelations that happened during last session, which kind of forced the hand here figuratively, at least in my sense, because like from Atra's point of view, it pretty much looks like the world is going to shit right now, which he couldn't care less about, honestly. But there's the few things he does care about, and as I mentioned often in the past, that he is somewhat somewhat careful and a person who does not want to get surprised by changes. And also what was established before is he has been searching for his daughter for a long, long time without getting any kind of headway or leads or whatever. So the possibility of this track running cold is honestly very, very frightening for him, because he is as close as he has ever been, almost as close as he can almost see her or smell her, I guess. And then the realization that these druids are crazy and they will ground this world into dust if need be, and they're willing to do so. And then he knows that his daughter is in a place which is very ground to dustable. Does not seem like a good idea to let this just run its part. And he's been working with these folks a bit now, and it seems to be always very dangerous of them or Atra dying. So like leaving this chance seemed like very out of character for him. So I made a decision to make a call here and basically say, well, you offered me this twice, and this is the last chance I will have to kind of say yes or no to that offering. I'll take you up on it. And how this works out game-wise, I thought about for a bit, but I also thought that this is something that Atra could be doing on his own, and if need be, then try to get to the party later on if they were unwilling. But those would have been bridges that I cross once I
kind of got there, yeah.
got there. So this is like something, this is like his personal thing. This is the one thing that he initially had, why he even joined them, to then just like say, okay, goodbye, don't care, seemed very, very like just inappropriate, say, put it like this. So
no, absolutely Jorik.
I had a similar moment today in this session that Simon had when we were in Drakenmore. Will I do the right thing? And I was looking for a reason for Jorik to drop the world is ending and there's dragons to go save someone he personally doesn't care about, but Atra's daughter. So you might have noticed I wasn't very active in the whole discussion where everyone was screaming at each other that you're crazy, we should do this, because I was trying my hardest to figure out a logical reason, because Jorik is stupidly logical, for him to delay the attack to go save Atra's daughter. And the whole go scout, we'll save the daughter, and then we go in was the best way to do that. So that's why I came up with that solution, because I wanted to have a reason for my character to I'll go and help Atra, because that's more interesting than Atra just going on and doing it alone, right? So that was my fiddling with things to make my character do something that he probably shouldn't otherwise.
I also thought that the even better point was like, well, let's see the facts. Like, he's leaving. Like, that was something that was going to happen, right? Like, so how you want this to turn out is absolutely up. And I was honestly I was honestly like fine with this going either direction, right? Like, this was me as a player. I was like, I don't know how they will react to this. Didn't speak with them about this before. Just
no.
Yeah.
And like Jenny said, or as Adru'sai stated, this is crazy. Hello.
Hey, we are crazy.
What are you doing? So it was hard to come up with a reason for Jorik to go along with this, but I figured that idea, like, he knows Atra is going, and we still have to scout anyway, because I don't want to go in blind. That's a bad idea. So that's, I think it worked out fine in the end.
It's not over yet. Adru'sai.
No.
I think part of why Adru'sai just really refused to go along is that I personally, being a person with Asperger's, I have a hard time with quick turns sometimes. And I genuinely didn't expect this to come up now. Like, because we've been in the momentum of going to Sector 13 for quite a couple of episodes now, and we were just about to go, and then
now let's go this one instead.
And like, I think I didn't quite catch that Atra was going to leave the group either way, and that there was still like a discussion going on. So like, I was still trying to go like, can we do this first? Like, it'll take a day, and then we can do the other thing. But I mean, I think it works out still, because I think Adru'sai is as focused on this as I was at the time. And I want to mention the decision right at the end to turn into a gnome instead was that as the dragon's eyes turns towards them, Adru'sai realizes that now they're going to be looking for invisible people. I need to stop being invisible. I can't help these other three people. I can do nothing to save them. They need to go run and hide, possibly leading people away from me. And I need to turn into a gnome and hide in a different way, because if I stay invisible, I'm going to die.
That is
so. That was the
thing.
Let's just hope it's not true sight.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens there. But like, I was just trying to like that was really like a split second life or death decision. Like, I can't save you.
Yep.
I need to live.
I think it was spot on.
Yeah.
And a good idea too.
Okay. Con?
Interesting developments.
Don't you just look forward to the day when you're ruler of the entire planet and you can...
Becoming more and more appealing.
Lord High Emperor Con. We knew it was going there.
Send people to deal with things. Well, it's interesting how you never know how the shifts and turns will take you. I thought, for Con's perspective, he's probably in a state of impatience, but he understands the situation as well. So he's kind of in the whole, can we just, all right, fine, let's go and do it and get it done. And if we level the town in the process, I really couldn't give a fuck, because I'm in a hurry.
Isn't it funny? There was a certain Oaken who went and defied the fallen empire. Oh, fuck it.
One dust bowl in the desert.
You want to make an omelette?
Doesn't matter.
No, obviously.
You've got to level a few cities.
Con's feeling growingly frustrated because just when he feels like on the right now we can get to the point where I just blast things out my way and get this done, there's human shields.
You guys didn't want to save the children. Atra was fine with that, just mowing through there.
Yeah, no, it doesn't sit well, really.
Yeah. Pesky morals.
Yes.
Yeah, you have a couple of episodes.
The way to the dark side is long.
In fact, I mean, in a real sense, in this, it is the world of adults that is corrupt and mean and nasty and selfish, and it's like,
Isn't that reality, though?
Yeah.
Exactly, and I'm referring to that. So, in that respect, it becomes even worse.
Also,
Yeah. So, Ken,
Ah, so interesting episode, really. And I get to blast off a few more spells, which is always exciting. But yeah, from Saket's point of view, she did make some promises in a swamp that may have been, slightly influenced by having hands around her neck at the time. But
Swamp promises are the most binding kinds of promises.
oh
To
yeah,
be fair.
absolutely.
it's more binding than a pinky swear.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, totally. But she is a woman who stands by her word, so she does feel obligated to help Atra in this quest. And if he's going to go now, and he's determined to go now, and then we have to go now. And while I hear Adru'sai's arguments strongly, like, we're there, what are you doing? And they are correct on that front, like, what are we doing? We're being crazy again. Saket has never had much sanity, so
Fair.
yeah, cool. It sort of all went with the flow anyway. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we can get this done in a quick, timely fashion and get back to go and help Adru'sai before they
Possibly rescue.
yeah, I have a feeling we may have to rescue them. So
I feel like we're like, when we're done murdering these people that we don't care about, we go back to murdering the people we do care about. It's like, what are we?
Just D&D life. What can I tell you?
yeah, I mean, come
We're
on.
justice hobos. Just face it.
justice. Well,
That's a
war
good
is
word.
like
Kill everything in the name of justice.
Let's
exactly.
just say I have both the Dancing Stones and one of the books. I might be.
What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah, I might be
great.
able to leverage some power here, but we'll see what happens.
That's one way of looking at it, and we'll find out what way it goes when we return next week. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to my players for playing. I have had a lot of fun tonight, and we will all see you next week when the Adventure of the Windswift continues. Until then, goodbye.